Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 1. We heard yesterday Vasudeva is telling Kans that our bodies, we are changing due to this mind, because of our thoughts. We are creating new bodies for ourselves. And then Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that if we can fix our mind on Krishna, then the next body we can get a spiritual body, go to the spiritual world. Fix the mind on Krishna by engaging the senses in Krishna's service. So reading on then. Jyotiryathaivodakaparthiveshvadaha
ज्योतिर्यथैव उदकपार्थवेषु वदः
Samiraveganugatam vibhavyate
समीरवेगम् अनुगतं विभाव्यते
evam samaya rachiteshvasopaman
एवं स्वमाया रचितेषु असौ पुमान्
guneshu raganugato vimuhyate.
गुणेषु रागा अनुगता विमुहति
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When the luminaries in the sky, such as the moon, the sun, and the stars, are reflected in liquids like oil or water, they appear to be of different shapes, sometimes round, sometimes long, and so on, because of the movements of the wind. Similarly, when the living entity, the soul, is absorbed in materialistic thoughts, he accepts various manifestations as his own identity because of ignorance. In other words, one is bewildered by mental concoctions because of agitation from the material modes of nature. This verse gives a very good example by which to understand the different positions of the eternal spiritual soul in the material world and how the soul takes on different bodies. Dehantar Prapti. The moon is stationary and is one, but when it is reflected in water or oil, it appears to take different shapes because of the movements of the wind. So, moon shine, Purnima coming up, full moon coming up tomorrow, right? Yeah, tomorrow. So then it looks very beautiful. And when we see the reflection in the water of the moon, it looks to be somewhat moving. Yeah? It may look a little bit different in shape. That is because of that the wind is moving. It's not that the moon actually has become like that. It's not that the moon is actually trembling. Similarly, the soul is the eternal servant of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when put into the material modes of nature, it takes different bodies, sometimes as a demigod, sometimes a man, a dog, a tree, and so on. By the influence of Maya, the illusory potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the living entity thinks that he is this person, that person, American, Indian, cat, dog, tree, or whatever. This is called Maya. So we are the soul, we are servant eternally of Krishna. And we take different bodies. Right now we have this human body. So we are thinking, I'm a human being, I am a woman, I belong to this nationality, this country, this society, this community, this family. But actually we are spirit soul. And when we leave the body and take up another body, then we will think we are that person. Right? So this is Maya. Makes us forget that who we actually are, and we start thinking we are the body. When one is freed from this bewilderment and understands that the soul does not belong to any shape of this material world, one is situated on the spiritual platform Brahma Bhuta. So Brahma Bhuta stage. What is a Brahma Bhuta stage?
When one is situated in the spiritual platform.
Yeah, when one understands I'm the soul, I'm not the
Soul.
body. Yeah, that's Brahma Bhuta. Okay, I understanding, okay, I am the soul. This realization is sometimes explained as nirakar or formlessness. This formlessness, however, does not mean that the soul has no form. So someone may think, oh, well, then I become nirakar. But the soul has a form. Huh? The soul has spiritual form. But the external agitating form he has acquired because of material contamination is false. So this is what we have to understand, that this material body, this form that we have, is not our real identity. It seems real to us. Our full time, full energy is going with this. We are all the time thinking, I am this body. We are doing the things. We are so busy maintaining the body, you know, maintaining things that are attached to this body, me and mine, aham mameti. But actually, we are not this body. Similarly, God is also described as Nirakar, which means that God has no material form, but is Satchid Ananda Vigraha. So whenever Nirakar is being said, it means no material form, not that it has no form. It means no material form, has spiritual form. The living entity is a part and parcel of the Supreme Satchidananda Vigraha, but his material forms are temporary or illusory. Both the living entity and the Supreme Lord have original spiritual forms, Satchidananda Vigraha, but the Lord, the Supreme, does not change his form. The Lord appears as he is, whereas the living entity appears because material nature forces him to accept different forms. So tomorrow, Balaram Purnima, Lord Balaram is appearing in his own transcendental form. It's not a material body. We are taken material bodies. Doesn't mean God takes material bodies. No, God never takes material bodies. Janmashtami coming up, Krishna comes in his own original form, Satchidananda Vigraha. We are forced to take these different types of material bodies. When the living entity receives these different forms, he identifies with them and not with his original spiritual form. Right? We can't understand, oh, I'm the soul. We're just thinking I'm the body. That's how we work whole day. I'm the body. As soon as the living entity returns to his original spiritual form and understanding, he immediately surrenders to the supreme form, the personality of Godhead. So this is explained in Bhagavad Gita 7.19. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapatyate. When the living entity, after many, many births in different forms, returns to his original form of Krishna consciousness, he immediately surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Form Krishna. This is liberation. So when one understands, oh, I'm part and parcel of Krishna, I'm not this body, I am soul, then one surrenders to Krishna. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 18:54, Brahma Bhuta Prasanna na shochati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. One who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. So, this is liberation, mukti, Brahman, when one understands I am not the body, I am the soul. He is happy. He has nothing to do with the body. He has no lamentation. He is not regretting anything. He is not hankering for anything. He does not want anything material. But he wants to engage in devotional service. When one understands I'm not the body, I'm the soul, then one begins pure devotional service. Bhakti begins from liberation. One may think bhakti is liberation is the end, but actually bhakti is the beginning of real life, of real relationship with Krishna, eternal relationship. So surrender unto the Supreme Form is the result of bhakti. This bhakti or understanding of one's own position is the complete liberation. As long as one is under an impersonal understanding of the absolute truth, he is not in pure knowledge, but he must still struggle for pure knowledge. So one's knowledge means is not yet complete. Although when one understands that God is the supreme person, then one's knowledge is complete. Otherwise, one still has to endeavor to get this knowledge. Kleshode kataraste sham avyakta sakta chetasam. Bhagavad Gita 12.5. Although one may be spiritually advanced, if one is attached to the impersonal feature of the absolute truth, one must still work very hard, as indicated by the words kleshodikataraha, which mean greater suffering. So, because to understand the impersonal Brahman is not easy. It requires lot of penances, austerities, and it takes lifetimes and lifetimes, a lot of mind and sense control, a lot of suffering. A devotee, however, easily attains his original position as a spiritual form and understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his original form. So, but if one takes up bhakti, one can easily understand God is a person, Supreme Person. I am eternally a servitor of the Lord. When one takes up hearing, one takes up chanting, one can easily understand this. Any comments or questions till now? Okay, so going on. Krishna himself
Hare Krishna,
explains the.
so they just said that if somebody is in the impersonal, then for him it is difficult, right?
That's right.
But if he's a devotee, because he's serving by his senses, and the senses get purified, and then for him to realize, it's easier,
That's right.
right? That's what
Yes,
they are just trying to point here.
that's right. Yes,
Uh,
yes.
Hare Krishna. So does it mean
Hare
like for yogis or gyanis?
For Gyanis is not easy.
Gyanis.
Yeah, very difficult. Yogis also not easy.
Hmm.
Takes lifetimes and lifetimes.
Because they are doing it for such a long time. They're just sitting and doing that. And for a
Yeah,
devotee, he just chants, calls out to Krishna, he serves him by his senses. So it's easy for him, right?
yeah, because he's being helped by Krishna.
Because he's being held
Krishna
by Krishna.
purifies, yeah, Krishna purifies our senses. When we
Hmm.
are hearing about Krishna, when we are chanting Krishna's name, then Krishna who's in our heart, he cleans up all these material contaminations from our heart. But whereas the Jnani and Yogi, they are depending only on their own strength.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Krishna himself explains the forms of the living entities in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where he clearly says to Arjuna that he, Arjuna, and all other living entities who were previously in their original forms are separate individual identities. They were individuals in the past, they are now situated in individuality, and in the future they will all continue to maintain their individual forms. The only difference is that the conditioned living entity appears in various material forms, whereas Krishna appears in his original spiritual form. So Krishna is explaining in Bhagavad Gita, he's telling to Arjun that Arjun, you, me, and all the kings who are assembled here were existing in the past as individuals, right now existing as individuals, and in future will continue to exist as individuals. The difference is that we conditioned souls, we just keep on taking material bodies, different ones, whereas Krishna never changes his form. He's always in a spiritual form. Yeah. So one may think, oh, well, before I was God, right now I am individual. After I get liberated, I will become God. No, it never happens. We are always been individual souls. In the past, we have been individual. Right now, we are individual. In the future, we will continue to remain individual. Even after liberation, we will have our own individual spiritual forms. The individuality continues. The spiritual soul, Krishna speaks about the spirit soul in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that we are eternal, ever existing, unchangeable, unmutable. So we eternally exist as individuals. Is that okay? Eternally individuals. Because one may think, oh, after liberation, I will merge into the body of God and I will not exist. No, we will exist. We continue to exist eternally. So, unfortunately, those who are not advanced in spiritual knowledge think that Krishna is like one of them and that his form is like the material forms. Avajananti mamuda manushim tanum ashritam. Bhagavad Gita 9.11. So someone may think Krishna's body is also material. Oh, I have material body, so Krishna's body is also material. But then that is our foolishness. Krishna is saying, Avajananti ma mudha. Yeah, foolish. The fools deride me, he says. That is because of lack of knowledge. Krishna is never puffed up by material knowledge and is therefore called Achyuta, whereas the living entities fall down and are agitated by material nature. This is the difference between the Supreme Lord and the living entities. So Krishna never comes under the influence of Maya. He always in his own spiritual form. We living entities, we have a tendency to be captured by Maya. That's the difference between Krishna and us. Krishna never comes under illusion, but we come under illusion. In this connection, it is to be noted that Vasudeva, who was situated in a transcendental position, advised Kamsa not to commit further sinful activities. Kamsa, a representative of the demons, was always ready to kill Krishna or God, whereas Vasudeva represents a transcendentally situated person to whom Krishna is born Vasudev is the son of Vasudev. So Vasudev is a pure devotee. He's the father of Krishna. So he's a pure devotee, transcendental position. So he's telling Kans, hey, don't be so fearful. Don't kill Devki. You're gonna get sinful reactions. And who is Kans? He's representing the demoniac demons. Always want to fight with God or kill God. So Vasudeva wanted his brother-in-law Kamsa to refrain from the sinful act of killing his sister, since the result of being agitated by material nature would be that Kamsa would have to accept a body in which to suffer again and again. Elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.4, Rishabdev also says, Asadu manye yata atmanoyam asanapi kleshada asadeha. As long as the living entity is entangled in the fruitive activities of so-called happiness and distress, he will receive a particular type of body in which to endure the three kinds of suffering due to material nature. Tritapa yantrana. So Lord Rishabdev is saying that till the time we keep on acting under the influence of material nature, and we are saying we want to enjoy this result, so we will continue in this material world. We will continue to take different bodies. And in each body, there is three types of suffering. Suffering caused by our own body and mind, suffering caused by others, suffering caused by natural calamities. An intelligent person, therefore, must free himself from the influence of the three modes of material nature and revive his original spiritual body by engaging in the service of the Supreme Person, Krishna. As long as one is materially attached, one must accept the process of birth, death, old age, and disease. One is therefore advised that an intelligent person, instead of being entangled in so-called good and bad fruitive activities, should engage his life in advancing in Krishna consciousness, so that instead of accepting another material body, tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti, he will return home back to Godhead. So we are being encouraged, we are being advised that give up this bad and good activities, pious and sinful activity, rather engage in devotional service so that we can completely stop this cycle of birth and death. If we continue with this pious activities or sinful activities, we are just creating more and more bodies for ourselves. We are still remaining in this cycle of birth and death. Even pious activities will bring us to Swargalok, give us heavenly bodies. But then again, after that result finishes, again we will have to come to this earthly planet. Again, do some karma, again continue with this cycle of birth and death. So Prabhupada, we can see in all the purports, Prabhupada is again and again reminding us, giving us so many different verses from Bhagavad Gita, from Bhagavatam, to take up devotional service and make this life our last life. So our next body can be a spiritual body. Is that okay?
Yes. I think everywhere, even in Bhagavad Gita, like we were reading yesterday with Prabhuji, the same thing was there, that karma, vikarma, and akarma. So, like, without desiring the results, we need to
Yeah,
do our act. We need to do our karma without any attachment to it, without any expectation of the results. And he's an intelligent person, the one who does
yeah,
that. So,
that's right.
I think again and again, everywhere we are reminded this. But I think we are so much covered by Maya or our own bad karmas from the past, or our own, that somehow as soon as we go out we forget it. So
Yeah,
we
the
have
main
to
thing
keep
is we
reminding.
forget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we forget. It's very, like, until I'm reading this, it's there in my mind. If I'm reading it every day, it's there. I can bring it out when it's required in my life, because situations come and we forget and we start talking nonsense, which makes no sense at all. I'm talking about myself, and it does happen sometimes without thinking. I don't know what happens. Like how we are, like, कि हमें पता है कि whatever we'll speak, it will have an impact. It's so powerful. Your
Speak, but
jiva
even
is so
think.
powerful.
We
Yeah,
think.
we don't think, no, we forget.
Yeah. That's why, like, see how the mind, right? So the thought is so important.
And the
What we
jiva,
really
the thought will be okay. Like, if thought,
thoughts also, right? That also creates.
yeah, but no, but at least thought will be like, हम उसको बोल सकते कि मतलब ऐसा नहीं है, ये तो गलत, और लेकिन हमने जिह्वा को यूज कर दिया तो वो तो इनएक्ट हो गया ना. That is, the thought is the first one, first culprit, but the jiva is the, like, फिर तो कर ही दिया, काम ही कर दिया.
So the thought
So
makes the jiva, no?
yeah,
Say,
yeah, तो act
very
करवा.
good.
तो मतलब
Yeah.
it's Krishna. And I was really scared. मैंने कहा यहाँ पर तो ठीक है. I was telling Shilpa ji also this only. मैंने कहा
Mm.
here it's okay, Shilpa ji, because we don't come in contact with so many people. We don't have to actually. But when we are in India, oh my God, anybody will come and they tell you anything. Like, you have to listen. You just can't disrespect them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we can
true.
just pray, maybe.
Pray,
Help.
that's what. But we have to see also that we have been here for a very long time and we have just started hearing and chanting. But also we can see that how, I'm sure if we can see ourselves few years ago and now, we will see some difference. So it is acting. Krishna is helping. It's just, it takes time. It's gradual. So we have to just continue to hear and chant. Just remain in in the process. Just continue to hear and chant. I know sometimes we feel because we were not able to control what we said or our mind, then we feel what's happening. But at least that consciousness is there. Before that, we wouldn't even think about it. We would think, okay, this is what it is. I'm so good. I'm right in this way. But at least now we understand. So it is acting. The holy name is acting. Hearing Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita is acting. Krishna is helping. We simply have to continue to hear and chant. And we have to be a little tolerant, I think. That becomes a little difficult. Tolerate. That's what we have to practice also. To tolerate. Should we stop here?
Yeah.
And Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Hare Krishna. Thank you all.